Nah, man, you know what? Like, and I know like a lot of people say different things, or like, not to sound too cliche, but like, man, I've always lived my life like I was a champion. You know, I wake up every day, I talk like a champion, I walk like a champion, I carry myself like a champion every day. Not a Bellator champion, but just a champion in my everyday life, just because that's who I am as a person. You know, I want to be one of those guys that are teaching people that like you don't need a label or a title or be like the best at what you do in your job, but if you're a great person, you can be a champion every day of your life. So that's what I preach, and that's how I carry myself. So I guess I've been translating that or transitioning that over into Bellator too. It was amazing, man. And honestly, when I won, I wasn't even thinking about any of that stuff. You know, I was just having a blast being there. You know, it was really one of those times where I was just present in the moment. You know, not really thinking about the belt or the win or fighting Michael Chandler or who was coming up next or what people were saying. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just really just in the moment and really kind of embracing that joy and that happiness of that moment. And I wasn't really thinking about anything else. But afterwards, after I calmed down and everything came to light and I started to refocus, I started thinking like, man, you know what, like it felt good because I felt like I was able to let people know like you can't overlook people in this sport. Any day, at any time, any given week, anybody can show up and just show out, you know, and that's what I did that night. And I think I outclassed Chandler, not as far as just my skills, but just my personality, what I brought to the cage, and I think people connected with that, and that really woke people up also. Just not just my performance, but the way I carry myself. I think people really enjoyed themselves in that night, you know. I think so, but you know, at the same time, I don't know, man. There's been different things being said that he was injured, he was hurt, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, man, I've been in plenty of fights, hurt and injured. And, you know, I went through the Bellator lightweight tournament, the second tournament when I won. You know, I popped my rib. I had a busted shoulder, a bad knee. I went through all 3 fights. I didn't complain once. I didn't give any, like, reasons on why I didn't do what I did. You know, like, that's just, for me, I feel like that's a way to look somebody over, you know, look over somebody is just start making all this and this reason and this reason. He didn't verbally come out and say that he overlooked me, or he wasn't saying things where I felt like he was like just overlooking me, but when you start to make excuses of reasons why you did this and reasons why this, and you weren't that guy that night that you usually are, that starts to come off to me like you're overlooking me. And, you know, if we get a rematch, I'll definitely open his eyes and let him know what's up. I've been here for about, oh man, maybe about a year now. I'm here about a year. I can't remember exactly when I started training here, but I think it might have been, when I fought Kitaoka in Japan. I think it was January or something like that, and I started training here, and I kind of was off and on, but just recently, I think it was maybe last July I started here full time. So if I'm thinking correctly, it's about a year and a half maybe. Man, it was exactly the same thing, man. My first day here, I had to spar with Dustin Poirier. He was getting ready to fight Jonathan Brookings when he was still with the UFC. And my first day here, and look, I'm still pretty green. I was still pretty green at the time, and no real skills as far as striking goes, just some pure athleticism and just a little bit of wrestling. And I had to spar with that guy, and man, he smashed me for 3 rounds straight, and it was a hard go, man. And for the whole week that I was here, the first week I was here, it was just next guy after next guy just smashing me. And then, you know, I just clicked over. It's like, man, if I expect to get any better, this is a place where I got to be. And training with guys like Dustin Poirier, Thiago Alves, Robbie Lawler, George Masvidal. These are all guys that I was training with when I first started here. And these are all guys that I still train closely with now. And man, it's been an incredible experience being here, you know.